Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Python programming series. In previous video we discussed about exception in Python, like what are exception in Python, and some common built-in exception in Python and so on. If you didn't watch previous video, please watch it. You can find link in I button or you can find link in description below. In today's video, we will discuss how to handle exception in Python and how to create custom exception if needed. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a solid understanding how to handle exception and how to create your own exception in Python. So, if you're ready, let's get started. In the previous tutorial, we learned about different built-in exceptions in Python and why it is important to handle exceptions. However, sometimes we may need to create our own custom exceptions that serve our purpose. Creating custom exceptions. In Python, we can create custom exceptions by creating a new class that is derived from the built-in exception class. Here's the syntax to create or define custom exceptions in Python. In this example, custom error is a user-defined error which inherits from the exception class. This is important to note that when we are developing a large Python program, it is a good practice to place all the user-defined exceptions that our program raises in a separate file. Many standard modules define their exceptions separately as exceptions.py or errors.py. Here is the example of user-defined exception class. This will raise an invalid age exception if user will enter number less than 18. Let's execute the code and see the output. Save your Python file and open your command prompt in the same directory. Type Python space file name and press enter. It will ask you to enter a number. If you will enter less than 18, it will raise exception, otherwise it'll print the valid result as you can see on the screen. In this example, we have defined the custom exception invalid age exception by creating a new class that is derived from the built-in exception class. Here, when input underscore number is smaller than 18, this code generates an exception. When an exception occurs, the rest of the code inside the try block is skipped. The except block catches the user-defined invalid age exception and statements inside the except block are executed. Customizing exception classes. We can further customize this class to accept other arguments as per our needs. To learn about customizing the exception classes, you need to have the basic knowledge of object-oriented programming. We will learn about object-oriented programming concept later on this channel. So you can subscribe to this channel so don't miss any upcoming video. Now let's talk about how to handle these kind of exceptions. We know that exceptions abnormally terminate the execution of a program. This is why it is important to handle exceptions. In Python, we use the try, except block to handle exception. Try, except block in Python. The try, except block is used to handle exceptions in Python. Here's the syntax of try, except block. Here, we have placed the code that might generate an exception inside the try block. Every try block is followed by an except block. When an exception occurs, it is caught by the except block. The except block cannot be used without the try block. Here is the example of exception handling using try, except block in Python. In this example, we are trying to divide a number by 0. Here, this code generates an exception. To handle the exception, we have put the code, result equals numerator divide denominator inside the try block. Now when an exception occurs, the rest of the code inside the try block is skipped. The except block catches the exception and statements inside the except block are executed. If none of the statements in the try block generates an exception, the except block is skipped. Catching specific exceptions in Python. For each try block, there can be 0 or more except blocks. Multiple except blocks allow us to handle each exception differently. The argument type of each except block indicates the type of exception that can be handled by it. In this example, we have created a list named even_numbers. Since the list index starts from 0, the last element of the list is at index 3. Notice the statement. Here, we are trying to access a value to the index 5. Hence, index error exception occurs. When the index error exception occurs in the try block, the zero division error exception is skipped. The set of code inside the index error exception is executed. Try with else clause in Python. In some situations, we might want to run a certain block of code if the code block inside try runs without any errors. For these cases, you can use the optional else keyword with the try statement. This is the example of try with else clause in Python. If we pass an even number, the reciprocal is computed and displayed. However, if we pass 0, we get zero division error as the code block inside else is not handled by preceding except. Run the code to see the expected output. Note that point, exceptions in the else clause are not handled by the preceding except clauses. Try except with finally in Python. In Python, the finally block is always executed no matter whether there is an exception or not. The finally block is optional. And, for each try block, there can be only one finally block. This is the example of try with finally block in Python. In this example, we are dividing a number by 0 inside the try block. Here, this code generates an exception. The exception is caught by the except block. And then the finally block is executed. Exception handling is a critical skill for any Python developer. It empowers you to write resilient code that can handle unexpected situations gracefully. By understanding the various types of exceptions and how to handle them, you're well on your way to becoming a proficient Python programmer. Keep coding, keep learning, and see you in the next video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting Python tutorials. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Happy coding! Thanks for watching.